Yeah. Let me answer the second question first. Every user story team has its own daily stand-up. And by daily stand-up, I really mean a daily stand-up. Wherever you are, you can connect via live meeting as well. Although that's not what traditionally Agile Scrum tells you. First of all, distributed team is the first question mark. But we have to live with this. And which is why we had a daily stand-up. We have all our status reporting also in TFS. So everybody from everywhere who has access to this particular project repository can look at what is the latest status and can update it. Of course, for updates, you need special permissions and so on. And then the first question is, how did we stitch this together? Software and firmware is part of the single team, user story team. Hardware, unfortunately, cannot be part of this team directly because they follow a little bit different rhythm of releases. But then they are one release ahead in terms of the Scrum level, sprint level releases, they are one release ahead. Okay, so that's how we stitch them together. But software and firmware is always a single team. Okay. Exactly. Correct. 8 points are roughly there. Absolutely. Yeah, so what have we predominantly worked on? So these basically are the 8 lean principles towards your right hand side. And and where exactly did we reduce the waste? So we brought in a lot of automation, we reduced the manual effort. We brought about a lot of quality checks earlier in the cycle, which means a complete left shift, because here what was happening is quality information was available pretty late. What is working, what is not. And secondly, we used to start on a big bang with lot of features, but we could not realize 60% of them. So that is another waste we have tried to minimize. Any other questions? Or I would be open to questions also later. No worries, you can.
Thanks,
All right.
Meghna. So we'll take a 20 minutes break, tea and coffee, and we'll be back. We have the next session by Raj and the final session by ThoughtWorks.
Raj is part of the Huawei Technologies group of companies, and he heads the technology cooperation and knowledge management. And we have definitely heard him earlier in the group discussion as well. So it's over to you, Raj.
But I'm in charge of the technology cooperation and R&D competency, which takes care of this continuous delivery movement in our organization. In our organization, we don't differentiate continuous delivery and DevOps. It's the same movement, and with some kind of connectivity between collaboration between Dev and Ops. So today's presentation, I would like to set the context. If you are looking for what are the tools that we are using like that, I'm sorry, I'm not even going to say any tool that we are going to use. Of course, you might have heard about what tools, all those things over here. And of course, if you want a specific question, I can tell you what are the tools. But this particular session, I am not doing in a way, I'm going to say DevOps is equal to automation or DevOps is equal to tools. That's not my intention. I'm just going a level above of it. Okay? And another thing I want to set a context in Huawei, how it works is we have platforms, which is being used by the products. Of course, it will be there for any of the telecom kind of thing. So it's not typically the B2C kind of situation always. So we have a platform which is used by the product or products assembled to make the solution for the market. Okay, so this is how it works. So there are a lot of layers over and above till it reaches the final customer. So we may have B2C separately, B2B separately, but within that B, there are several layers which goes on and done by the different teams. So the complications are quite different. So I want to set this context so that you could able to relate thing. This session I'm going to talk about the guide or continuous delivery and the DevOps guideline that we have formed or we have drafted in our organization. The reason I will tell you why we have drafted and what are the aspects that we occurred in the guide. So a couple of sessions you may find it interesting. After that you really will feel bored and I can't help about that. Okay. So first I will talk about the natural confusion comes here itself when I was in the session of tea and even in the lunch. I asked a couple of people, they said DevOps is equal to automation. Yeah, oh, if I have 100% automation, I'm DevOps. Somebody said DevOps is an extension of continuous delivery. So like that, different people have different opinion. Of course, I'm not here, to say this is the standard, definition of DevOps is all about. But the basic issue is everybody's having a different perspective of the definition of DevOps. And that if you have in mind and if you try to deploy the DevOps in organization, everybody will be in the chaos. CTO will say, this is DevOps, guys do it. And the poor guy who is going to have the development manager like that, they will say, oh, this is not the DevOps something else. So the chaos are getting created and that makes tougher. This is one, oh, I'm sorry, I think what we did is we also just browsed the Twitter. What all the various confusion. I'm extremely sorry, this is not even readable to me. So people have different, they said DevOps is, continuous deployment is equal to DevOps. How many say, if you say continuous deployment is equal to DevOps? Please raise, no problem. Of course, I was also like that. No problem. Yeah. And somebody said DevOps is the next step to CD. DevOps is equal to Agile plus CD. Interesting thing must be there. Is the process under SDLC, DevOps. And somebody also mentioned, oh, I'm not able to read anything. Is, no, even there is very horrible. Sorry. Is DevOps is only applicable for internet products and not for, embedded kind of systems. So there is a different kind of mixed reaction by the DevOps, and we are also the victim of those kind of things. Who creating is, of course, you can see the big ground is consultant. I'm not blaming the consultant. I may be having some consultants from the Big Brother, Blue Big Brother, or Works of Thoughts over here. I've just renamed them. So there are some, consultants who create that. It is not their problem, it's an understanding of us. When you go to now internet we say it gives a solution for whatever queries you have. But now internet is changing way. It is just completely diverting from the reality. To be frank, because there are some paid consultants are there. There are some people who write for that particular perspective. So if 100 people write about one particular tool and this poor CTO just types DevOps, and if he sees all the 100 tools related, he will try to believe, oh, DevOps is equal to this particular tool. Let's catch that tool, use it and finish it off. So that is the kind of perspective people are. And implementers also have a different. And subject matter experts are really the poor guys. These guys will talk about DevOps is really what is this one? What we meant by DevOps. It's not something different from Agile. It is part of the Agile movement. It's part of things which we are talking about in the continuous delivery. There is nothing different. Only the element of collaboration and cooperation happening, which we are extending from the engineering to the operation aspect. So that is what they are trying to do. So here anyway, I'm not going to say which is right, which is wrong. So I just want to set the context before that. So this is a kind of Twitter things which you can also just do that one. Just type DevOps, you will find a different kind of from everybody. And this is the one which we took it from Wiki. And what is DevOps is a concept among things with software development operations service, communication, collaboration, and integration. So these are the important things which we would like to highlight. That is what the essence of DevOps. Please, whenever somebody says DevOps is equal to automation or tools, these are part of it. These are enablers, but that's not the complete thing which we have to figure out. And let's go to so we talk about the natural confusion orchestrated, which is somebody, when CTO or COO in organization, he might have saw, oh, my competitor is doing DevOps, and he will assemble a meeting and he will say, guys, this is DevOps. He may not even explain. Let's do it in 3 months. That's the kind of targets, people may set. I don't want to say who will do all those things, but so there are 3 different mind of people are there. One is the guys, they'll say, oh, yes, really we have to study what is DevOps, and then, completely they will have a plan of let's go for it. That's a true spirit, they will go for it. There are some guys, they will look for the easiest way. They will say, oh, DevOps, let's see there is one particular tool, let's catch that, and then show it to our COO. This is DevOps. That is another way. Third guys are, really, guys who say, when they say, how are you following Agile? Yes, we are following Agile. See, we are doing stand-up. We are having a round table over here. Everybody's sitting. They'll click the photograph and then, post it, send it to the COO. They'll say, we are Agile. Smart guys. So these kind of people are also there. Why they do? They want, when there is a competition getting built, okay, COO says, oh, there are 2 BLs. How do I make my team to call it as DevOps, in comparison with other business line? So that kind of things happens. It completely spoils the real essence of what we call the Agile movement, where DevOps is also part of it, in my opinion. Yep. So this we also faced. That's the reason why we came up with. You liked it or you didn't like it? Yeah, I love it. So, there is one nice picture I put. I didn't know. Look at that. So, we have in our things, we may have tools. To be frank, we have tools in every area. When you say tools, means we say we don't want any tools, we already have. So, we do have tools. We have management support. Somebody, yes, COO said money, everything is there. All are available. We still have talent. We also have talent. But what we miss is the basic governance. Even we have process aligned, ITIL, CMMI, there are guys, in the, which department generally? Quality department, they did this, all those are things, but the basic governance is missing. And that is created problem for us. You understood? So a lot of investment, tools are there, you name it, test automation, ops automation, infrastructure as code, everything we purchased or developed, all those things available. The governance, the dev and ops are not talking. They are not collaborating. Then what is the point of DevOps? Forget about that. Dev and test, what she was doing, dev and test, they don't talk. They don't collaborate. They don't communicate. They don't coexist. What's the point? Okay. That is the reason now we thought of having a guideline. Why it is taking so slow? Sorry. So we have developed this capability deployment guideline. So from now you will feel really bored because we are not going to talk about nice things of tools and all. I'm typically going to talk about some Gyan kind of aspects which we have documented in our guide. So you may feel bored, so that's okay. So help us to consolidate our interpretation and understanding on DevOps in a context of continuous delivery. It helps the projects in adapting DevOps and applicable practices. Ability to connect and blend DevOps with existing initiative. This one, 2 years before we said Agile, oh yes, let's do Agile, separate thread goes on. Another again, continuous delivery, separate thread. DevOps, separate thread. All are separate, everything is same. Everything, there are some kind of connectivities there. So what's happening? All the threads just moves here and there. They gets confusion. They want to have their program to win over other. So how do we really blend the DevOps with the existing initiative? and drive the capability towards the value to customer. Whatever you do, value to customer is very important. So those are all the aspects that we have handled, considered while developing this. So how we have done is, this capability guide which we have made in a layered aspect. One is the goal perspective, which is nothing but the senior management can look into it. So he or she can see what really need to be followed when we say the DevOps with the continuous delivery with the blend of DevOps. Okay, so we have set in such a way the goals. There are 4 goals we have set, and then what are the various stories for each and every story, for each and every goal. So we have made develop and test, maintain against production-like system. So this is not that we have invented. Please, I want to make it very clear. It is taken from the people like you, whatever knowledge which you have shared through blogs, whatever experts have shared. So it is consolidation of that. So we don't want to take that we have developed kind of thing. So there are certain sub goals we have set. You may find this is similar to CMMI kind of thing, but we don't want to make it too much. So and what we have done is some of the activities and then sub activities. And depends upon my time, I will explain certain things. So it is for each and every set of activities, the sub activities we made. Example, first one, let me take. Set up production like system or staging environment. So there are certain steps that are required to be followed. Because in our Huawei kind of situation, we don't operate with one single production environment. One platform need to work with the various production like environments, which means